Your sausage McMuffin with egg didn't change. Your receipt did. The sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal includes a hash brown and a small coffee for just $5. Only at McDonald's for a limited time.
Prices and participation may vary.
Fictional friends, and welcome to another episode of Fully Booked. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shireen.
And we're week three
of
our Dark Academia chats for September. Oh, Lord. This is a really funny month for us because we have no adaptations to talk about.
We were trying to figure out what to watch, and there was just nothing.
No, we were like, oh, should we watch this? And we were like, no, that's not a book. Huh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tune into our episode from last week.
Yeah, that's it, where we kind of talked about this and sort of the issues that come along with, I guess, like having Dark Academia adaptations in the first place and stuff.
It's such a strong fan base a lot of the time.
Oh, God, yeah. So I guess to pivot on that, we kind of figured we'd do a little bit of a follow-up this week just to chat through some stuff and talk about... I guess we can talk about, that's it, maybe Dark Academia novels that would make for good adaptations.
Yeah,
that
could maybe
potentially be like interesting adaptations and what could potentially be done with them as well. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there are quite a few books to choose from, more, I think, than it appears at first glance.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, oh, what, Dark Academia. I punched it into, our bookshop app, basically. Thinking, not that many things would pop up, and holy cheese balls.
Lo and behold.
There is a lot. There were pages and pages and pages of Dark Academia novels.
It's crazy.
And I was like, I'm shocked because I haven't heard of so many of these.
I know.
And I had to stop myself from reading the synopsis because I'm like, I'm going to want to read all of these now.
I know, God. Yeah. I know. Don't I know it? That's always the problem, isn't it? Right? That you wind up with all these books that you just never wind up getting to.
Yep.
It's just it's the forever issue where then you get into oh God, which one should I read next? And you grab some and then you're like, this one. Oh no, wait, this one. Oh no, I'm kind of in the mood for this one. Oh God, this one's just come out. Oh God.
Oh, it's terrible. Book buying and book reading are two separate hobbies.
They're both hobbies, and I partake in both of them.
Yes, I do too.
But I don't make them mesh together very well.
I don't either. It's such a problem. I've got piles. So my other problem is I don't have enough bookshelves for
you
all
definitely
the books
don't at this point.
that I keep
but
buying.
You know what you don't do? You hate a book and then you don't donate it, Shireen.
I can't do that.
That's so weird. you gotta bite the bullet.
It's like my trophy shelf, and then I can just be like, "Oh, I didn't like you. Go over to the dusty corner."
Wow. That's
sit in the dark corner.
See, I live in a condo, so eventually I have no choice but to be like, okay, so these ones that I know that I maybe didn't enjoy as much, and I'm never going to read again. There needs to be a donation pile at some point. So a couple of times a year, I do a sweep. And I move things out because I know I've moved other things
I can't do it. I can't. I'm too emotionally attached to them.
Oh my God.
I'm I hated you, but we still spent time together.
It's like holding on to a toxic ex. What are you doing to yourself?
I don't know. That's why they go to the dusty corner.
And the relationship.
I'm like, hey, Spider Bros, here's a new thing for you to cling on to.
Yeah, but it's true though. It's true that you don't, at this point, you've gotten to a level where you don't have enough bookshelves for all of the books that you have.
No, and I unfortunately no longer have enough space in the house to add a bunch of bookshelves. I need to really figure out the house a bit. Anyway, we digress.
There would be a lot to do with that. Oh my God, but I love how differences, I come across many different types of people in my life. I force myself to purge a couple of times a year. You cannot do it at all.
No.
Meanwhile, I have a colleague who I had been speaking to a little while ago who works in a different city, but she had been coming to our neck of the woods. We'd been talking, and she had been on vacation with her husband and read a book for the first time in ages because she has 3 kids.
Oh, yes.
And just hasn't gotten back into it very much and stuff, which was completely understandable. And so she read a thriller that she really enjoyed while she was on vacation. And she was like, oh, I should bring it for you so that you can read it. And I was like, oh, sure. If you thanks. Yeah, sure. If you want to, I'm never really going to say no to that.
Yeah.
And her words, which gave me pause as somebody who reads a lot, were, well, yeah, I've read it, so I don't know what to do with it now. And I was like, you're not going to like keep it? And
You put it on your trophy shelf.
And her words were, no, why would I do that? I was like, right. See, readers and people who don't read often are not necessarily rereaders, right? Like, that's not really a thing.
It doesn't matter. We spent time together. You made me feel feelings.
No, you kick them to the curb. The relationship's over.
That?
Yeah.
Who does that? You can't look fondly upon the spine of the book.
I don't know.
Be like, oh, I remember the time in my life where I read that.
I mean, I don't even know if she necessarily has like bookcases in her house in which to fit this thing.
What
right?
does the furniture point at?
Wow. Oh God, it's so true. You're like, what is your wall decorated with?
Well,
Then if you've got
yeah.
no bookcases up where you can just stare at the way that I've
You
organized
have pictures
my
of your
books.
family?
Yeah.
My God.
Ew.
Ew.
Ridiculous, says the mother of the two of us. Oh man. Yikes.
We're tired.
We're different people.
We are.
We're different people from people who don't read books on a regular basis.
I can't. This is now going to be like a thing that I keep thinking about.
Yeah.
Being like, how could you just be like, and I've met people like this before where they're like, I read this book. Here, do you want it?
Yeah, because they're like, if not, I'm just gonna basically donate it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I've never had anybody tell me they're gonna throw it out. Nobody's
No.
that crazy, but like, I've had multiple people be like, yeah, I'm not gonna keep it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I cannot relate.
I cannot. I have to hold on to all of them.
You're like, I fucking hated this book and I still have it. Anyway.
I feel like creating a fucking shrine to some of the books that I hated the most to be like, remember how you actually powered through and read this piece of crap?
Yeah, this is why I can never do things like when people make like reels on like Book Talk and stuff of like books that were disappointing for them that they didn't enjoy. I can't. Oftentimes I can't find myself doing that regularly because I don't keep them most of the time. If I really didn't like them, I don't keep them.
See, I could do that.
Yeah.
My problem is I tend to DNF them a lot of the time.
Oh, for sure.
Like I find it very hard to power
but
through.
that's understandable.
Yeah, I think it's because like during an English degree, like you kind of have to power through because you're being like, graded on this shit.
Anytime that you're doing it for school reasons, right? You have to finish the book.
Yeah,
So.
but like my friend KP, she can hate a book and she will get through the damn thing.
No, she'll read the whole thing.
I'm like, how?
No, I've definitely stopped myself more now. There are times where I've still done it, and afterward I'm like, why the fuck did I?
Why
do
did
that?
I bother with that? Yeah,
but I have accepted a DNF more in my life now, where I'm like, no. Sometimes if I'm really not enjoying it, I'm not just gonna keep reading it for no reason. It's stupid. Anyway, okay. So, how do we want to get into this? We want to talk about the idea of adapting dark academia. Do we want to talk about like ones that we think would make for good choices?
Let's do that.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, we've mentioned Ninth House like 7 times now, but
we love Leigh Bardugo.
Yeah, and I mean, like I do like the Alex Stern books, which is really what this series is called, are exceptionally popular.
Yeah.
And really fall into that dark academia space like very, very well. I think it's set at Yale, from what I remember, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very secret society. This one.
That's it.
Yeah.
So again, it just fits into this subgenre incredibly well. And I know that there's an element of like magical realism to it and stuff, but you could actually make something pretty dark.
Yeah, so it's all about Galaxy Alex Stern, who is very young, very talented, and they end up at Yale. They were raised in LA by their mom, and they're kind of like, they've kind of been in trouble the last little while. And so they end up at Yale, and there's this secret society, and they kind of get pulled into the world of the secret society.
Okay.
And it's a lot about like rich versus poor, like we talked about this. And Alex being kind of an outcast and how they, kind of infiltrate this secret society. And there is like an element of fantasy into it. So very popular. I've only like read the first like 5 or 10 pages of it, and I was I found it quite gripping. Yeah. But I do like Leigh Bardugo. So, and there is 2 other books in the series, if I'm not mistaken. There's one and the other one's coming out. So very popular. This one I would love to see adapted. And I think, though I haven't read the whole thing, so I don't know how far this goes into the whole like fantasy paranormal aspect. But I think to an extent, because it's set at Yale and like there's no like extensive world building.
Okay, yeah. Well, because it's at Yale.
Yeah, I think this one would be a good adaptation that could be done, and because it's only 3 books in the series, they may be able to turn it into like 3 seasons of a TV show.
Maybe that's it. I don't know if it's going to be 3 in total, but I know that the 3rd one I think is coming out next year, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, who knows? From everything I've been taking a look at, and it's true, this would kind of fall into that. Bunny by Mona Awad is probably something that would fall pretty well, I would say, into the like horror thriller category of dark academia, which has to do with that's the lead character is accepted into an MFA program at university.
Your sausage McMuffin with egg didn't change. Your receipt did. The sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal includes a hash brown and a small coffee for just $5. Only at McDonald's for a limited time.
Prices and participation may vary.
So she's like a scholarship student. We've literally talked about this, like that one scholarship kid, essentially.
Same thing with Ninth House, I think.
Exactly, that's it. She winds up being invited, I guess, into this clique of like really weird girls who all call each other Bunny and all almost like speak in the same voice at the same time. Like they're very strange. They're very like really weird, kitschy, rich girls who are like very bizarre. She kind of winds up getting like initiated into their little club, I guess, that they have, but it's like it's very sinister. It's very strange as a story, and a lot of the twists are like really odd,
right?
That come along with it. Anyway, there's like a lot to it, but it could make for something like kind of dark and creepy. And I know that actually the sequel to the book is being published by the end of this month, September 23rd. We Love You, Bunny is coming out. So, which I did not think that this novel was getting a sequel. So that's interesting. Yeah, it was very like kind of cult classic, and it kind of shot to the tops of things like after it was published, from what I remember.
Yeah, another one that I would like to see adapted is the Atlas 6, so by Olivie Blake. There's also the Atlas Paradox and the Atlas Complex. Yeah. In the it's there's 3 of them in the series. It's one of these like very secret society, but there is an element of fantasy to it because the 6 who are chosen to kind of compete, they all have powers of some sort. Yeah, okay. So they're selected by this man Atlas, who is putting them through like a series of tests, basically, to select the new member of the society. That is, they're essentially there to protect what's left of the Library of Alexandria. Right. So like really interesting concept. And given like what I've seen from, or what I've read of the, I haven't finished the series, but what I've read, I do believe this would be a great one to adapt as well. Because you've got a lot of great characters in it that get fleshed out. And it dives into each of the characters quite in depth. Like you've got their backstories, you've got like where they're going, like what motivates them, you know, their fears, their hopes, their dreams. So you could like turn this into a TV show, I think, and you know, everybody would kind of like fall in love with the characters a little bit and how they interact with each other and how competitive they get. Like, and I think everybody, not everybody, but I think there is this level of like curiosity, interest in everything to do with the Library of Alexandria, which was burned by the Christians way back when. And you know, there's a lot of talk about how it set us back. Like,
because of all of
hundreds of years.
Because
science.
of all of the knowledge that had been stored in the library that was destroyed potentially could have led to breakthroughs. That's it, years and years ahead.
That's right. And so that was all destroyed. And so, you know, this kind of recurs in a lot of like movies and books and stuff. It's mentioned.
The Library of Alexandria is a big one.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that one would be really interesting to adapt.
Maybe, I think I could see, especially from the historical standpoint of things, that one could be interesting for like the history buffs out there.
Exactly, because it like marries like secret society, dark academia, history, fantasy, like all in one.
So one that I had read that I could see that which I will actually say it's one book and you could make it into one movie, which is like not always the case anymore. Even sometimes one book you're like, there's no way you could make this into, there's too much world building. You can make this into one film, but this one falls into like the more thriller category, which I feel is easier to make a one and done out of, would be The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. Yeah. So that one's set at Cambridge.
Okay.
The lead character, she's not a student. She's a group therapist. Her name's Mariana. Mm-hmm. She, so her niece, whose name is Zoe, I believe, attends Cambridge, and Zoe's friend is found murdered.
Okay.
On campus,
basically. Oh, wow. Okay.
And so Mariana decides to head to the school, one, to like figure out what the hell's going on with Zoe because she's acting very strange. And then when she arrives there, she immediately gloms on to the idea that a Greek tragedy professor named Edward Fosca is probably the murderer. He has this incredibly bizarre group of students that call themselves the Maidens that are like obsessed with him.
Right.
And like follow him around to a degree, but he's charming and captivating and gets away with things that he probably should not, but also toes that line between like, is he actually really guilty of doing anything, or is he just kind of there? And so Mariana winds up digging into like all of the different aspects of like the Maidens, why they're doing what they're doing, and really like what is actually going on at like the heart of this issue, and is Edward Fosca actually involved in anything that's happening. It's got a lot of twists to it and stuff, and so like as a thriller, I feel like you could just you could do this one. Like this one would be like a pretty straightforward and decent adaptation, I think, to do.
Yeah. And there's like hundreds of them that you could pick from, and like I found that there's like differing opinions of what falls into dark academia. Because you and I
we had this discussion. Weren't we looking at some lists earlier?
Yeah, somebody said
Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights. And
The Picture of Dorian Gray.
That comes up a lot.
Frankenstein
has come up too.
And I'm like, what?
So in that spirit, I'm going to throw one in here that I've read, and I've mentioned it on the podcast a couple of times. It's called The Honeys by Ryan LaSala.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually more, I would say, horror than fantasy.
I've seen it fall into horror lists
sometimes. And I found this one really good, but it does take place at a prestigious boarding school in New England. And it's about a character who... So they're twins, but the main character goes by they, them.
Yeah.
And their twin sister, died.
Okay.
And that's how kind of the story starts. Their sister had been continuing at this boarding school that they had both been attending, but the main character ended up dropping out because they felt that they were not like welcome. They weren't included. Like they felt discriminated against because they are non-binary. But their sister had become increasingly more like kind of obsessed, ingrained in the mindset of the school.
Okay.
And when their sister came back from I think it was Christmas vacation or summer vacation, the sister started attacking the main character.
Oh my god.
And so they had to actually kill their own sister.
Holy shit.
To save their own lives. And this all happens at the beginning of the story.
So you're like, whoa.
And like the mother is like a congresswoman, I think. Okay. So she's very much like, we're gonna like
cover it up,
cover all of this. Yeah. It's all going under the rug. They decide to go back to the school because they feel that there hasn't been enough answers as to why their sister like tried to violently murder them
essentially.
And so they go back to the school, and there's like an insinuation that there's some sort of like hive mind happening,
right?
And like everybody's kind of like brainwashed or whatever. And so it's really good. You should read it.
Yeah, you really liked it.
I did. Yeah, like for somebody who doesn't really like horror, I found it like a really interesting concept.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see. I love that. See, all the ones that I'm coming across, it's bad too, because like I would love to pick all of the ones that are very fantasy based, but I just feel like it would be too hard to do.
Yes.
It would be so hard to do it. So I feel like I'm steering away from those.
Yeah.
So the last one that I will say that I had come across I have not read this one, I will say, but I have a feeling that this would probably also make a decent thriller. It's called These Violent Delights.
Oh, yes.
By Micah Neveremmer. or Never Ever, sorry, which is essentially like a sort of like Hitchcock-ish type of story about two students, Paul and Julian. They meet in university in the 70s, actually, as freshmen, and they, you know, are both like very different personality types, but they're drawn together. They have a friendship that then becomes something quite a bit more intimate, essentially. Basically, they kind of, you know, it's the 70s, so a queer relationship at the time would have been
a no-no,
and quite a bit more frowned upon anyway. And so, you know, they apparently it sort of seems to be a push and pull between like the pressures of the outside world combined with like these two volatile people and the hurt that they can inflict on each other.
Yeah.
In a sense, at the same
It's
time.
more about the relationships
between the two of them, basically. But it does seem like a pretty like interesting kind of thriller, like, you know, one of these sort of like people becoming like almost obsessed with each other kind of thing, and like the darkness that can lead to and stuff. So again, I feel like you could probably, if you had two good people as the leads
with good chemistry,
you could probably pull something like that off.
Yeah, I think a lot of the ones that we've mentioned, it's all about the interactions between characters.
Yeah, and I mean, even in non-book adaptations or whatever, non-book things that do have some element, I will say, of like academia to them or dark academia to them, that's often the case. Look at like Saltburn.
Oh gosh,
like the first part of that film, right? Is all
I didn't hate that film.
It was interesting.
I thought it was interesting.
It was interesting. I like aesthetically it was beautiful. Obviously the performances were good. I do understand some of the criticism that at the end of the day, like with regard to like the idea of elitism and rich people, it doesn't necessarily say anything new particularly. It's just sort of rich people being shitty, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, but you can't always like reinvent the wheel.
No, that's it. But but I appreciated it for what it was. So anyway, it'll be real interesting to see. I don't remember what it is that Emerald Fennell is working on right now. Is it that Wuthering? Is it Wuthering Heights?
It is.
With Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi?
That's right. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I'm actually quite pumped for that. I know you're not really into it.
I do not know how to feel about those casting choices. Ooh. They're very strange, and I just don't know how that's going to play.
Due for a new adaptation of Wuthering Heights.
So yeah, I just don't know how that's going to play off. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. But
I think it's also because in terms of classics, it's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, you love it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm withholding. I feel like a lot of people have had like really aggressive reactions to it. I'm withholding judgment because sometimes you can be super pleasantly surprised by these things. So anyway, all of that to say, I guess, that, you know, there are a fair number of books, and like a ton that we haven't mentioned, obviously, but there are a fair number of books that would probably make like fairly straightforward adaptations if studios were actually willing to do anything about that, which we know that they're not always, and we talked about this in our last episode, but like, you know, it's hard for them to decide to take a risk, so that's not always something that happens.
Money. God, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's it. So why do that when we can have a sure thing? Although the sure things lately aren't always paying off for them either.
Because there's fatigue around it now. It's like you've done it too much.
Yeah, you've done it already. It's boring. I don't need it.
Move on.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, so we've got one more episode for you this month to finish everything off, and then we'll be diving obviously into a whole new theme for the month of October. Of course, obviously, as usual, feel free to check out everything we have going on over on the website at fullybooked.ca. We do have some dark academia stuff there for you to check out as well, and follow us on all of our socials. So Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, search for Fully Booked CA and you will find us there. But until next week, guys, keep on reading.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.